A lot of you who were with us through the big emotional roller coasters of trying to get pregnant, you were with us with our favorite doctor. Her name is Dr. Hatch. She is back in California. A few months ago, we called to schedule a consultation with her, and today is that day. Hello? Hi. Good, how are you? Oh, it'll ring. Oh, perfect. Sounds good. Okay, bye. Are we vlogging? Am I nervous and have butterflies in my stomach? Yeah, I do. I don't know why, but I'm really nervous. Breathe. Philip. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I just paced, I got water, I changed laundry over. I wish I was that calm. Just chill. Well, instead of just starting the vlog by just saying I'm so nervous, why don't I talk to you guys for a second and explain why? Many of you have been on this journey with us since the beginning. A lot of you guys joined as we were traveling in the RV and I was pregnant with our third daughter with our IVF miracle. Trying to breathe, let my heart rate drop a little bit. But a lot of you who were with us through the big emotional roller coasters of trying to get pregnant, you were with us with our favorite doctor. Her name is Dr. Hatch. She is back in California. A few months ago, we called to schedule a consultation with her, and today is that day. Hearing what she has to say, possibly coming up with an idea or a plan. Also very much over the last few days, us really trying to pray about what actions do we need to be taking, or do we need to step back, or do we need to open our hands or run forward. That can be really hard when you feel like you want to know where to go and what to do, but aren't quite sure what that looks like, or not having a clear answer what you should be doing. So I think that's where my butterflies are coming from. Plus, I really miss her. We really connected with her. She has phenomenal bedside manner, which is really nice to have in a doctor, but it wasn't something I needed, especially at this point after all we've been through. However, she is incredibly smart, but she's also very passionate about wanting to make sure that this works for you. And since being here and seeing a few doctors, a big clinic with lots of nurses, lots of team members, I understand that feeling of the conveyor belt. It wasn't as much as I needed my hand held. It more felt like, okay, we'll just do this next step, but it didn't seem like anyone really cared if it worked, if that makes sense. And I don't mean they need to be like compassionate with me and holding my hand and walking me through all the feels, even though that is a plus. In my heart, I feel like I need to be working with somebody who wants to make this happen almost as much as we do. That can be hard to find. So we are sitting in a new space in our bedroom. It looks like we have this big, huge setup for a phone call, which it's not. We could do this phone call anywhere, but this setup is for fun stuff to come for you guys. So we just figured we'd take advantage of the light. Sorry, trying to take a breath. I have met a lot of people in this infertility space over the last decade, and I can't speak for all of us, but many of us women, I don't know if it's because of the journey we've been on, or maybe it's our personalities to begin with, but we kind of try to seek out control. And I'm really trying to get back to where I'm in a healthy space and I have an eternal perspective. And I remember that these children of mine are little gifts that I get to raise. But if an eternal perspective is something that's a foreign concept to you, the best way I can describe it is it just changes your mindset on everything. And so even though a lot of us try to have control, I'm really trying to get to the healthy place where I am at when I can release. A little background story. So if you guys are just jumping on with us, learning a little bit more about our infertility journey. I'll try to put, I'm trying to think, there's a handful of videos that really describe our journey very well, but they are old. So I'll have to look back years at some vlogs, and I'll put them down in the description. But Philip had a varicocele surgery last year, and we were waiting for results. We got to get 2 sets of results, and then when we went to get the final sets of results, he got a fever, and then we waited 90 days, and then he got a fever again. And so he's in the middle of, well, he just had a fever in December, in the beginning of December. Do we need to wait the 90 days? The doctor here said, let's just check it and let's see where we're at. And so we haven't scheduled that, but we do need to see where Philip's at.
I'm big, Mama.
You are big. You can do that. And my 2.5-year-old reminds me how much she's so big, and she is. If our transfer would have worked last year, also update, if you missed it, we did a IVF transfer that we did share about last February. It did not take. And it's really wild to think if it would have taken, we would have our little baby boy with us. And so for now, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for loving and supporting me over the years. But thank you for loving and supporting me right now, because talking to you, I know I want to be connected to you guys so much more. It's become this desperate desire that Philip and I have had for years, but it's been pushing us forward this year and the end of last year because I want to connect with you guys. I don't want to just be facing the camera where you guys get to connect with me. I want to connect with you. I want us to connect with each other. I do still have to say, you guys being here and me being able to talk to you through this platform, my heart rate has come down. I do feel calmer than when I first sat down and first picked up the camera. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for being that love and support. And it sounds weird, but you're a very good listener. And I told someone very close to me recently that to be a really good friend is to be a really good listener. And so if you feel like you don't have that group around you, that community around you, are you that good listener for somebody else? Because if you provide that and are really good at it, your community is pretty darn awesome around you. And so just encouragement is to, you are a really good listener to me, but for your community and your inner circle, be a good listener for them. And I'm going to try to breathe as I wait for this video chat to start.
I want a big hug. That's the only problem with Skype.
I know it! Oh my goodness! Hi! You want to come say hi? Can you say thank you for helping me be here?
Hi, Cassidy. Hi. She's beautiful.
Thank you. She is so fun. Okay, and the big girls want to come say hi? Oh, we are good. We're really good. Not the best internet here, but we're good.
Okay, so you transferred last February, and so it was just negative.
It was just negative.
Hi, Dr. Hatch. How the heck are ya?
It's so good to see you.
I wish I could give you a hug.
Okay, well, here's Erica.
Yeah.
Erica.
Did you get to see Cassidy?
Yeah, she was here right in the beginning.
You know, and I'm not a big AMH person.
I know you're not. That's why I was like, when I got my first low one, I was like, Dr. Hatch would understand.
Yeah. People shouldn't, run the world based off AMH levels.
Mm-hmm.
For you, I haven't seen you for so long. A day 2, antral follicle count, and I want to look for the symmetry. I would need to know how big each follicle is. You come in a week after ovulation, see how symmetric they are in reference to comparing to how you were on day 2. Mm-hmm. Get an progesterone and see if there's a corpus luteum defect or not, see if you could benefit from estrogen priming. It's all about how to get good quality eggs, making sure they're all mature at the same time for the retrieval, so the cohort you have is all legitimate.
Right.
Did they do an abdominal ultrasound for your transfer, or you didn't need a full bladder?
Oh, it was the worst. I don't need to debrief with you, but oh my gosh, I was like, I've done this before and I've done it a lot, and this is so, they put a stitch in my cervix because it made a curve, and they can pull on the stitch to straighten it out. And so I had this stitch, which caused a little bit of bleeding. And then on transfer day, I didn't have a full enough bladder because I just started sipping water. So they were just making me chug these waters.
So you do have a massive full bladder, so they're doing it with the abdominal ultrasound.
They must have, yeah. And he just told me when it was done. He didn't tell me like, oh, the embryo's going in, let's watch, anything like that. It was just like, okay, it's over. I had to refuse. They wanted to give me lithium or like some kind of like sedative kind of thing for the transfer. And I'm like, I'm not gonna clench down. I promise. Like, I'm relaxed. I'm gonna be fine. Like, it was so. Anyways.
That's horrific.
The whole thing, I'm like, I've done this before, and this is just not. It has not been the best experience.
Now I know why.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different, and they are very set in their ways, and when I try to bring things up that I'm like, you don't need to do that, I don't need that. I was the difficult patient, I'm sure. So.
Wow, that's crazy though. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
No one has the bedside manner that you do.
Thank you, Phil.
Well, and that's the other thing. It feels like I don't need someone to necessarily hold my hand, but it's nice to have someone that actually wants this to happen almost as bad as you do. And when they don't really seem like they care if it works or it doesn't, it's hard to feel like they're really doing their best.
It's, as companies get bigger and bigger and bigger, margin gets interrupted by customer service.
Like, I try to remind people, remember why you went into medicine, guys.
Yeah.
You know, remember the first person that let you examine them as a med student, how appreciative you are. Try to remember those days.
Yeah.
You know?
Gosh, you need to do seminars and just teach teach them all.
I know. I think I might have the highest pregnancy rates for all the ovation doctors. Mm-hmm. And the frustration for me is all these people are actually really smart. It's just that they're disconnected.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you personalize their case versus just this is the protocol.
For me, I individualize care, but the thing is that to practice the way I practice, I have to limit my volume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've made an intentional decision when I first went into private practice to limit my patient load. Yeah. And I feel sorry for people that went elsewhere. Yeah. That didn't wait for me because sometimes I see them 9 months later. They've had 3 failed IVF since then. Mm-hmm. And they kept my appointment in case they didn't get pregnant kind of thing. But, it's just because, as I said, I didn't go into it for what are my numbers, how many people can I see, and you can't do my type of medicine if you're looking at numbers.
Yeah, that's so good.
People over profit.
And that's how I've always been.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you've not lost sight of that going through 20 plus years and then a pandemic and then all the things, you were so driven towards your vision and not lost sight of that is so commendable. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we still tell people, if you can do it in California, go to Dr. Hatch.
Well, everybody knows. I'm like, I can't recommend anybody else.
Yeah.
My gut usually doesn't lead me too wrong, and I just felt like with our last ditch effort, I'm not going to just throw it at anybody. And so I didn't know technicality. How have you worked with patients out of state in the past?
Okay, so what I think we used to do is let me get some data and see how, like your day 2 ultrasound, and I want every follicle measured and for them to really look for the follicles and measure every one of them. I don't care if they're 3 millimeters, 5 millimeters, 9 millimeters. I want them all measured, get an estrogen FSH, and try to get me that data real time. You can text me. See if they would just appease you and do a natural cycle monitoring or follow you to ovulation and just see what's going on, and then let's do an ultrasound a week after ovulation and see how your follicles can get estrogen, progesterone. And we're going to need new sperm with Phil, right?
So he had a varicocele surgery last April.
Oh, good.
Also.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so he actually had great numbers other than the motility 3 months out. And then 9 months, we went right before his test. He had a 102 fever. We waited 90 days, and right before that, in beginning of December, he had another 102 fever. So
no more getting sick, Phil.
I know. So So can we test him before 90 days?
I mean, you can, because if it's good, it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
But if it's bad, then you'd have to redo it. That's how I'll phrase that.
Okay.
So you decide.
I have a better idea. You moved to Nashville.
Yeah. I don't think I would feel confident with anybody retrieving other than you. Even transferring. Like, I thought, oh, it's just a transfer. Like, they can do
I'm
that.
not let anybody do it. But they can't do another transfer. I mean, I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah, that was nuts. I'm like, even now, I'm like, I wish I would have just flown back. They don't open on the weekend. So they have very few things that they will do on the weekend. If I have to do a follicle count on day 2, would you rather me on a day 1 or a day 3 if it falls over this coming weekend?
How do they do that? It'd be good.
I don't know. Oh, my transfer stuff started on a day 4. It's been a conveyor belt for sure, which I'm like, it would be fine if it worked, but it's not patient focused, I guess.
If we could get good ultrasound people and feel that we know what we're doing, then we could do, or you do a lot of the monitoring out there and you fly out, like, you still have to be here for probably at least 4 days.
Okay, that's nothing.
We just do the retrieval, then you go home, and then I don't need you back until the transfer.
Right, which is like, what, a month, a cycle off?
I usually have a rest month and do the transfer. You could start stim though back there as long as we can get people to give us the correct data. And then you guys, she or you both fly out, a few days before the retrieval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then I'll bring brochures when I see you of open office space in Nashville for you to start your franchise. She's going to like what I have to say.
You're going to like this the best. They almost told me I couldn't do a transfer because they just didn't have any time available that month. I was like, what? Like, this is day 2. I'm letting you know. Like, we talked about it. They were like, sorry, there's no spots. I was like, this is absolutely ludicrous.
What's wild is they're less flexible than a smaller shop, but they're enormous.
And quite frankly, it's not even just that. I want to know that marriages are good.
Yeah.
Fertility stress is very hard on a marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm not trying to build a family.
Yeah. Well, down the road, we'll be excited to share with you where we have a lot of things that we're hoping to build that will be that exact support for people. Because that 70% divorce rate and infertility, we need to provide resources to make those marriages stronger. So that's what we're working on. So we'll try to share more as we.
Can I tell you, like you probably already know, but can I tell you where a lot of it goes bad?
Yeah.
They don't rely on each other anymore. They rely on their friends. It's not a unified husband-wife anymore. Okay, bye guys.
Bye, we love you. Bye-bye.
You're always stressed after a meeting, so
I'm always stressed after a meeting.
I'm gonna let you.
Because I have the deliverables.
I'm gonna let you feel that stress and then actually express how you're feeling.
I need a haircut.
I can do that.
I need a shower.
I can provide that.
I need to put the kids to bed.
I can do that.
Gotta put the animals away.
You can do that.
Honestly, it's so nice to have a familiar voice. There's so many hoops and so much logistics that it almost sounds crazy, but crazy is our love language. And I know that there's going to be a lot of prayer and talking about it in the coming days, whether this is right. But there is something to be said about Dr. Hatch. I mean, like, I forget her occupation, like, aside, like put aside high success rate, her character and her integrity and her work ethic and honesty, they just don't make them anymore like that.
No.
Like, that's what's so crazy, is that if she told me, you've got to move here to do this, I would consider it. Because she's, like, at this point in our life, like, she's family.
Yeah. I have seen a lot of doctors.
And we have heard about
a
thousands
lot of doctors.
More. Yes.
She's brilliant. Like, not just infertility and a doctor, like, science-based and, like, studies and research, and, like, she's so smart. But she started this because she cared and she wanted it for her patients.
Yeah.
Whereas I just don't see that in a lot of doctors where they want it for their patients. They might be super cocky and they're proud that they did this thing. I've seen some of that.
We've seen
and I've seen a lot of conveyor belt, and this is my paycheck and this is my job. And it's great when it works and I want it to work and I can keep my job. But this is like, she cares deeply.
To have gone through it herself in her
Do you
younger
know
years.
She was an infertility patient after she was a doctor.
Yeah.
And they told her, you're not going to have kids. And she showed them.
When people can live out of their place of brokenness and turn that into their deepest passion of helping others in the midst of whatever pursuit they're pursuing, that's where you find, your creme de la creme in every profession out there. We're talking to the people. It's
hi, people.
Hi, people.
It's really difficult to find those people that operate where their second nature is the care from the pain that they experienced. A lot of people take their pain and they don't know how to not take it out on others. It takes a warrior,
It's the first time I have had peace dealing with an infertility office, doctor, whatever, over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about for sure. I love what's proposed. I love the opportunity.
So I guess we'll be back with them in another video.
Yeah, lots to talk about, pray about, consider.
Well, we love you guys. Thank you for your love and support. And for any of you who are going through this journey that have faced infertility in the past or facing infertility now, we have said it thousands of times, and we'll say it again, you are not alone. The biggest thing that the enemy tried to push down on us in the beginning was that we were alone. And our biggest fire of why we wanted to start sharing is to let you know that you're not alone. And there's too many of us that face this, and we shouldn't do it alone. And we're going to live in community, and we are going to connect with you guys and support you guys and love on you guys, and we'll see you guys in our next video.
Go let your love multiply.